I think. When you're ready. Hey, there we go. Hello and welcome to the Labour Social with me and Ollie, Bowler Hat Man. How you
Woo!
doing, mate?
I'm all right.
Need to bring me
I
mic
think
over
it's
so people can hear what I'm saying.
oh oh there we go. Yeah, I think it's been a day.
Mm.
It's
It has
certainly
been
been
a
a day.
day. It has certainly been a day. It has indeed. Now, just as I was trying to get set up there and I was fiddling around with the graphics and everything, I got a message in the there's a news article that was in the Mirror earlier this evening. It was actually posted at just 7 minutes past 7 tonight, and it says 16 more lockdown gatherings at number 10 and checkers uncovered in Boris Johnson's diaries.
Yeah,
Like, are you shitting me? Like, what the hell? Seriously? 16. 16 more on top of the 20
uh,
that we already know about.
it's. I feel like there is going to be more, and I have to wonder at what point is Rishi Sunak might potentially get pulled into this again.
Oh,
I
I hope
feel like
so.
there's more revelations about him because obviously he got one, didn't he? He got a fixed penalty notice. So I feel
Yes.
like there's
Yes, he did.
maybe more stuff to come out
He's a
about him,
naughty
and
boy.
that's going to be very bad for him if that stuff starts coming out as well.
So who was your favourite Boris Johnson apologist today? Who was the one that like made you laugh the most? Who was like,
Oh,
Boris, Boris, please, love me, Boris.
Fabricant was good.
Yes. I thought he
Um,
was quite tactful, which is a weird thing to say about
I know
fabricant.
Fabricant being tactful.
Tactful, yeah. Those two words don't normally go together. But yeah, I think he was trying to not basically call it a kangaroo court.
Yeah,
Because that's a matter of contempt if you call it a kangaroo court. But yes, it's I'll try and have a look and see if I've got, because I screen capped some of my faves of like people on like elected
yeah,
MPs in Parliament belly aching about the fact that the person that they love most in the world has been discovered to be a
yeah.
massive liar. I mean, what are the
It's
chances?
honestly this vote on Monday is going to be interesting.
Yeah. We
It's going to
had
be interesting.
we had Esther McVeigh.
Oh yeah,
We got a Femi. A wild Femi has appeared. Hi Femi, I'm going to move. I'm going to move myself. Femi appears. Ah, there you go. I'm about to move up. It's always fun when I don't move with my background. Femi's going to be looking at this, go, what the hell is going on? This was all Super Tansky's idea. If you're out there, Tan, thanks for watching this. But yeah, Tan's not feeling too good tonight, so she had to cry off at the very last minute.
it's too many Boris, too much Boris.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
that honestly feels that's all I feel like I've talked about this week. just Boris Johnson.
Boris
And
overload.
the thing is, I'm doing a book club with this, and
Yeah.
I've got to chapter 3, and I'm like, I just don't want to read anymore. I just don't want
No,
to read it. It's put
no,
me
mate.
off.
I can
It's
understand.
put me off.
Well,
It's
we had a
like,
little bit of Trump as well, didn't we? Just to
yeah,
spice things
yeah,
up. We had a lot of Boris and a little bit of Trump. Lock him up, says GHK.
Yeah.
We had Esther McVeigh saying demands calling for Boris to be denied of former MPs passed to Parliament are utterly absurd and absolutely absurd and utterly unnecessary. There you go.
yeah. And of course, yeah, Doris, I think, has been probably the most vocal about it.
Yeah,
Like, out of
indeed.
all of them.
Indeed.
Mog threatening anyone who votes for the motion on Monday.
Yeah.
They're going to get deselected.
Yeah.
So, please start doing that, Jacob, because that will be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, Ben Houchen, who's a conservative, who is the conservative Tees Valley mayor, not far from where I am in Durham, he's has described the committee's report as a distraction from the real issues people want to see the government in dealing with, such as the suddenly high inflation.
or
Okay.
or maybe his Freeport.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
He added, I think a lot of people will see this as a stereotypical Westminster bubble story. What? This is about the Prime Minister having dozens of parties while the rest of us couldn't visit our nan. I mean, or go to our friends' funerals. Like, what the hell? Repo Man says, it's been a fantastic week in the chat. Got Eric Davidson saying, I'm watching Midas Tusk for another 20 minutes. Warm up, lads. What if Boris Johnson didn't think leaving drinks were unusual at work because he's constantly drinking at work? Well, that makes sense.
Well, that's a fair point, actually. It has been known for quite some time that Westminster has, I think, the most bars in a sort of contained area in London. I think it's one of those bizarre places. There's just that many bars.
And they used to be free. Not free, sorry. They used to be open all night. So everywhere else, every other pub in the country closed at 11, unless you applied to like a super late license or you had a lock in Parliament. They could just stay up drinking all night.
And that's why I think it's important to have his ex-MP pass removed as well.
Yeah.
That way you can't access Parliament again. So yeah, that's good. that's one good thing, definitely.
Land prices are at record lows in Ben Twitchen's area. Surprised they didn't talk about small boats again. I'm just texting Febby. I don't know why he's not able to join us yet. But I'll just see if he's all right. I thought the bars were in Soho. Well, the ones that they go to, yeah. Plus Coke Den says number 3. Yeah, you're probably not wrong there, mate. Indeed. If you want to just drop a chat in, you're very welcome to. We'll try and read out as many as we can. Obviously, if you drop a super chat in, we're much more likely to read it. I was going through these bloody messages, wasn't I, from these crazy Tory MPs. It was worth having a look at the written evidence of a number 10 official that was submitted. Did you have a look at this, Ollie?
Oh, is this the
press office, thing, and just saying about Wine Time Fridays and the fact that staff were warned to be mindful of cameras.
Yes, I remember that.
All a pantomime. It was all a pantomime.
Yeah, please use the back door.
Yeah. Andrea Jenkins, she posted "I'm backing Boris," the picture that was also posted by the bastard law person earlier today. And there was the chair of the Conservative Democratic Organisation, David Bannerman, who I think is a long what's it called? A long lost descendant of Campbell Bannerman, who was one of our illustrious prime ministers over 100 years ago. Everyone knows Boris has his flaws. He's lovable, and he's never lied to Jacob Rees-Mogg. Oh, that's all right then.
All I'm going to say is this vote on Monday, I've said it before, this is going to be interesting because Rishi Sunak has the perfect opportunity to just finally, once and for all, get rid of Boris Johnson. Why on God's green earth do you not take this opportunity, not only to banish him from your political party, but to get rid of him permanently? And he's just doing nothing about it.
I know. It's because he's weak. I mean, he doesn't want to any his MPs. Yeah. But what I noticed today is there's not that many supporting Boris. There's not that many, mate. It's a handful, literally a handful.
Yeah. I think you can put them into there's the ones that are like truly we're over Boris.
Yeah.
Then the ones who are like, well, he's good in some way for the party. Like if you were in if you're an MP for the Conservative Party, you want Boris Johnson on your sidelines to be a cheerleader. That's the position he is best at. He is the guy you send out with the pom-poms to sort of, to boost up the crowd.
Yeah.
That's Boris Johnson's position. And there are a lot of Conservative MPs, but they're fine with him being in that position. Yeah. And then, of course, you've got the diehards that are like, no, Boris is like the best thing since sliced bread. He is like the ultimate vote winner. He should be prime minister forever.
The thing is, he's a very good campaigner, and there's a few politicians who are like this, who are great campaigners. It pains me to say that about Boris Johnson, but he is a good campaigner. And then you've got these other people who are just like terrible campaigners, but good politicians. Whereas Boris Johnson was a very, very good campaigner, terrible politician. He just wasn't interested.
It's his public speaking.
Yeah,
it's his public speaking. Boris Johnson is an amazing public speaker. He's an absolutely amazing public speaker when it comes down to it, and that is what has served him well for a long time.
But he's not. That's the thing. He just bumbles along.
No. But he's so good at it. So I actually have a Boris Johnson story.
Just before you do that, I just want to shout out to number 3, who's been a member for 2 months. Thanks, Richard. And Graham, your critical interview really moved me. Richard's talking about the interview that I did with Dr. Julia Grace Patterson. We were discussing her forthcoming book. I've never been sent an advance copy of a book before, apart from ones that I've written. So that was quite exciting. I don't think I'm going to get, when they have like quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to get one of them. This is really good. I like this. But yeah, if you watch that interview, it's called Hard Labour, and it's about the state of the NHS. Well worth a watch. Also, we've got Max in the chat. A wild Max has joined the chat, but he's not at home, so he can't actually join the conversation. And GHK has just dropped £2 super chat in, starting out the super chats. Thank you. I can open my beer now. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks for the beer. It's a Foster's, don't worry. I'm not pushing the boat out. Jacob Rees-Mogg against the nanny state. Irony.
Yeah.
He literally has a nanny. He has a nanny. Oh my God.
Yes. He's for the state of nanny, not the nanny state.
Yeah. Boris was born in America. If he got his US citizenship sorted out again, he could run for president. I think the third rule about being president after being born in America, 35, I think you've got to have lived in America for 14 years.
Yeah.
So he might have a bit of a weight on his hands.
Well, like I say, he's apparently going to CNN. He's been in talks with people over there, so...
Oh, well, fine, they can have him. Do you know what I mean? Hey! Femi's appeared. Woo! Hey, Femi, how you doing?
I'm good. I've had a lot of computer issues, so hence the delay. I'm trying to figure out how to maximize the screen. There we go.
Welcome to my world. Oh my God! So, anything been going on politically, Femi? Anything?
No, it's been quiet. I was kind of waiting for stuff to get going.
So we were just having a look at some of the comments from people who were like supporting Johnson, and there's a few of them, but there's not that many. You would expect there to be more.
Yeah, I think given that the Tory downfall is very much largely due to Johnson, like he's a spent force. Yes, the base is still very much with him, but given that all the problems that they're facing is because of Johnson, rallying around him isn't going to fix things.
Yeah,
especially as the main reason why he had this appeal was because he was the face of Brexit, and now Brexit is no longer popular. Yes, Leave voters on average still believe it's the right thing to do, but about 20% of them don't. So it's no longer going to be an election winner.
Did you see Petronella Wyatt earlier tonight on LBC?
No.
She's Boris Johnson's one of his ex bits on the side, actually. One of two while he was seeing his second wife. While he's married to his second wife, I should say. And she was just talking about the fact that he's just got no loyalty. He's not a real conservative. And then she was talking about Brexit and what's the name of the guy? Andrew Marr. Andrew Marr was interviewing her, and he said, "So you don't think he was a true believer? You don't think he was a Brexiteer?" She's like, "No, he didn't believe in it. He just did it because it was good for Boris Johnson." I thought.
Yep. Well, if you remember, towards the end of his tenure, you had actual conservatives come out. Well, I don't think Boris is a real conservative, and that was kind of weird that they were starting that already, saying, in an attempt to get rid of him. Oh, Boris isn't a real conservative.
Well, he's not. He's not. He's not. I mean, Petronella Wyatt made some really good points about the fact that his outlook is not very conservative. Like the things that he actually wants to do stuff about the environment. He actually wants to get to net zero. He actually cares about animals. It's not very conservative. And you saw that when he ran for London mayor, and he said he was going to make London a sanctuary city for refugees. I mean, compare that with the refugee policy of the Tory party we've got now, which is just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. At that time, he was very much he was the London mayor, so he had to have those attitudes because he was the mayor of a very liberal city. So and now that he's looking to go towards a wider population, he's tacked to the right. So he's a pure political animal, just like the people who are backing it. Well, the people that are now saying that he's not a true conservative, that feels focus group. That feels like they made a decision. What's the best way we can sort of shed the Boris Johnson stink? He's not a true conservative. That'll pay well for face. It means that we're not saying they got it wrong. He's just saying that he's betrayed you.
We can distance ourselves from him just a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I don't really have I don't know. I don't know if I have much of a problem with that because I want him as far away from the Conservative Party as possible because he can't, especially not in the first past the post environment. He cannot succeed in any other party. What's he going to do? Join Labour?
Well, reform UK.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they expressed in a poll recently that there's a lot of them that want a Farage Johnson team up, which honestly, it made me think of that famous meme of what's his name, John Oliver, when there was a risk of when there were rumors that Trump might run for president. He was like, "Do it, look at me, do it." And that obviously did not go down so well. But I kind of want it.
Yeah, I'm the same with you on that. It would be fascinating to watch. It would be like going to the zoo and just seeing what happens. Just watching the penguins at the zoo.
No, it's going to the zoo and opening all the cages and seeing what happens.
Yeah, that's the type of chaos we're looking for.
Yeah. Chris is saying, my arse, if Johnson cares for animals, why does he burn notes of value in front of folks? Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, no, I mean, yeah, it's probably a bad thing to say that at least he pretends to care about animals because, yeah, obviously, Boris Johnson only cares about one thing, himself. That's it. That's the only thing he cares about. But yeah. The idea that in university he just ran around being an absolute terror in Oxford and smashing stuff up and burning things. And yeah, it was all a bit of a nightmare. Hi. Yeah. I've got Femi and I've got Ollie here. Catherine's just come to say hello.
Hello. Hi, Femi. Hi, Ollie.
Hey.
Evening.
Evening.
Can't be a bit of Yorkshire.
Yeah. So what next then? You reckon he's going to go off to CNN? He's not going to join Fox or Tice, is he?
Well, I've said this before, and I will keep on saying this. I think Boris Johnson's future lies in him being a YouTuber. I think Boris Johnson being a YouTuber would be the best move he could ever make.
Would that help us? Because we could just like do a video every day with a little clip of him being an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a content goldmine for us. But for Boris Johnson,
I don't want to look at his face though.
Yeah, because he's still got that support in the non-parliamentary party. Just have all the funding coming in, rolling from his YouTube channel. There'll be some millionaire and billionaire who will gladly fund him. You know, look at America. You've got people like Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, all of there. That's the model. All he has to do is just follow that. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, Russell Brand.
Yeah. He could do it very, very successfully. I think that is potentially his future. But if he does go to America, then potentially he could go to CNN because CNN are trying to do a pivot to the right at the moment. So that's
what's that about?
Oh, so they're trying to sort of beat Fox News by outfoxing Fox News, but you can't outfox Fox.
So they're doing a Starmer.
Potentially, yeah. And it's he could go to Fox News. I mean, he could get what they call a I can't remember what they call the contract, like an exclusive contract. So if they ever need like a British commentator, I think Nigel Farage had that for quite a while. I think on Fox News, whenever they wanted someone to come on and commentate about British affairs, you know, you'd pick up the phone, call Farage, and then Farage would get a nice paycheck at the end of the month. For all his appearances that month on Fox News. So again, that's a possibility for him. He'll absolutely do the speaker circuit because they love him in America. So he'll certainly go on that. But I still think he'll be a YouTuber. I think he'll just become some sort of angry old god sitting on top of Mount Olympus, just hurling thunderbolts at the current Tory party and just people he doesn't like to take revenge. Because that's one thing certain for Boris Johnson. He loves to take revenge.
Yeah, he's quite sadistic about it. Yeah. But I mean, what's do you think that this vote on Monday, do you think it's going to result in him having his pass taken off him? His ex-MP's pass?
It does. I hope it does. The man obviously has no business in Parliament. I mean, when he shut down Parliament, he should have been banned from entering Parliament after that. That should have just, if we were a country with any decent sort of laws, once the Supreme Court said that it was wrong to shut down Parliament, you don't get to be an MP again. Next election, you're out. You don't get to run again. That would have been a sensible country. And I hope they do something proper. But it's the same people that voted for Owen Patterson to change the rules so that he could get away with lobbying.
Yeah.
Well,
they didn't get away with that. That was one of the maddest things, wasn't it? In Johnson spitting his dummy out the pram today. He released his statement, didn't he, before the release of the inquiry report, and then it was embargoed. Like the journalist had his response already. They didn't have the report, but they had his response, and they couldn't announce it till after the report had come out. And in it, he started going on about, like, was it Bernard Jenkins nudist camps and things? And Jesus. What the hell? It was just like, what is wrong with him? Is that right? Was it Bernard Jenkins? He was on the panel. And he was going off on one about Harriet Harman, who, as far as I'm aware, didn't have a vote. She was the chairperson. So she didn't get a vote unless there was a tie, unless there was a 3-3 tie, and there wasn't.
Amazing.
So essentially, out of the people who got a vote, it was 3 or 4 Conservatives, and then SNP and 2 Labour, I think. Just and this is now the woke blob that's coming to take away your rights.
The remaining revenge.
So do you think Boris Johnson's kind of star is going to just sort of fizzle out now, or do you think he'll make some kind of comeback?
My worry is that if he does go down the online YouTuber route, then he will basically bubble in the background until the right moment. He'll keep weakening the Tory party and weakening the Labour Party, and then, well, here's the realistic, optimistic side of things. When we do finally get PR, he'll come in as another party, having weakened the 2 major ones and try and just squeak in through the middle.
Yeah,
like I say, I don't think we've seen the last of him in politics. It's the traditional Boris Johnson pre from becoming prime minister was whenever a scandal had broken or anything like that, because he wasn't prime minister, he could sort of disappear for a while. He could lay low for a bit, let it all blow over, and then he could make a big comeback because everyone loved Boris. But when he's prime minister, you can't disappear. You just can't disappear from the limelight. You've got to maintain it. And that's, I think, really was his downfall. The fact that he couldn't move, he couldn't go 1 second without having a scandal almost. And it was just, scandal after scandal after scandal, just another. And I think that's what he'll do. I think there'll be a cooling off period. I think he'll disappear maybe for maybe a couple of months. Maybe he might.
I don't think he'll disappear for a couple of months. I think he'll want to constantly be there. I think he'll be so terrified of the idea of being forgotten, but he won't just disappear.
Well, he's been making a lot of money in America already through his appearances as Bojo the Clown or whatever he calls himself over there. He's getting like $1 million to give a talk.
That's the speaker circuit. I mean, my word, if you could ever get on to that speaker circuit, money,
mate, I tried.
The money you could make.
TED Talks don't pay.
I mean, yeah, all the British prime ministers have done it, except I think Liz Truss. I'm not sure if he actually tried it or not.
Well, she did a talk at the Heritage Foundation, which is one of these horrible think tank PAC organizations in America that's just unbelievably right wing. I mean, this is right of the IEA and Tufton Street lot.
Well,
this is
that's where Tufton Street gets their money from.
That's
that lobby group.
Yeah, rich people who just want to stay rich. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, but I was a little bit. I felt like I thought there would have been more people, more MPs, more Tory MPs sticking up for Johnson. I mean, I think it was about 5 of them who I found who had actually put something online sticking up for him.
Yeah, I think it's some of the diehards really left now. I think very much the parliamentary party is, we need to move on, but not the non-parliamentary party. They haven't got that memo yet.
No. But I mean,
I've got to pop off.
Okay. All right, Femi. Thanks very much for dropping in.
Kiss me.
Good. See you.
Right. Okay. That was short and sweet. Unlike Rishi Sunak, who's just short. Our prime miniature.
Oh,
I'm going to move me back down.
That's what we need to make sure as well for the next election, that we've got like all the little Rishi memes all lined up ready to go.
Isn't it a bit wrong? Isn't it not very woke to sort of have a go at someone's physical appearance?
Well, we're not just
having
a go at his stature. It's the fact that he's just weak and childish.
It's just because we hate him. But he is an incredibly weak prime minister, and I think that's really coming through in his response today, which was to run away. Like, where was he? He went on to some dawn raid to pick up some people traffickers, or it was a drugs bust or something. It was just
see he's gonna go play pretend.
yeah. JJ saying Femi very quiet today. I think Femi's knackered because he's been talking all day. Yeah. Confirmed Graham doesn't have legs. I do have legs. Let's see. Good old legs. But I hope Liz Truss is not as bad as Boris. What? Oh. I hope Liz Truss list. Oh, sorry, I missed the word list. I was going to say she's probably arguably worse than Boris Johnson.
Oh,
for time taken in office and amount of carnage caused. I mean, she's off the charts.
I mean, I don't think we still know any idea who might appear on our list, but it's highly suspected it'd be a lot of people from like the Institute of Economic Affairs.
Yeah,
and it'll be that will cause a lot of headaches for Rishi when that finally lands on his desk. So that's for certain.
GHK has put Femi is checking his fridge to see if Boo is there. Who's Boo? Is that Boris?
Boris. Yeah.
But I always think about like the fact that Boris Johnson is very much a product of our ridiculous class system. Like if he had been born in a council estate in North Liverpool, no way would he have got anywhere in life. He just doesn't have he doesn't have the dedication that you need in order to really make it. He's lazy. He's feckless. I think he kind of like obsesses over something for a short amount of time and then gets bored of it very quickly. He never seems to finish anything, and he just
like
loves
that Shakespeare book.
Yeah, Shakespeare book that he didn't go to the Cobra meetings because he was writing a bloody Shakespeare book that still hasn't been released. But he's just very much a product of British society, in the same way that Trump is almost like a almost fictional product of American society. If you wanted to write a satire about the problem with the class system in the UK, or the darkness at the heart of the American dream, you couldn't come up with better characters for that than Boris Johnson here and Donald Trump in the US.
And did you see Trump's insane speech?
Yes,
he gave.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was the greatest president ever, and they indicted me.
I think he was talking about Bill Clinton's sock drawer.
Yes.
And it's like,
yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Bill Clinton's sock drawer. He had all these, tapes, documents in there. People, it's just like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same.
But
What you
there's
did.
so many parallels. There's so many parallels here because what Boris Johnson did, they're going, oh, it was just parties. Oh, it was just cake. Oh, we're going to still about cake. It's not about the fucking cake. It's about the fact that he lied to Parliament. And with Trump, it's not the fact that he had confidential records. It's the fact that he didn't hand them over when he was asked for them. Like when the archives people said, "Hey, you seem to have a few, classified documents there. Can we have them back?" If he'd gone, "Yeah, sure, here you go,"
Yeah,
that would
we
have been the
wouldn't
end
be in
of
this.
it. That would have been the end of it.
And the fact that not only he lied about it, then told his attorneys to hide documents and lie about the fact that they had them.
Yeah. And like both of them absolutely banged to rights. Now,
And then there's the recording of him bragging about them having them as well. And like, saying that they're classified documents and that he shouldn't have them.
Yeah, check these documents out. They're classified. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's like a little kid showing you his new Lego toy. It's like, isn't this cool? Look at this. It's a classified. It's a thing about our nuclear secrets.
I mean, I think they've been saying recently it could be the biggest national security breach and scandal in America's history.
Yeah.
Duke
Vengeance is saying, Trump, I will be the greatest prisoner ever.
Yeah.
The greatest. Like you've never seen.
I am not a man. I am a man. I am not a number.
Do you think that like he'll go down? Because there's a worry that it's helping him electorally, so he probably is going to get the Republican nomination. And then if he does get in as president, because a month before the election, I don't know, Biden dies because he's pretty old.
See, I think when you're talking about the American election, certainly I think he's got a good chance. Now, I think it comes down to the debates because you've got Chris Christie, who is ready to absolutely try and torpedo Trump. He is revved up and ready to go for him. You've then got DeSantis, who is probably his biggest rival. It's either going to be Trump or DeSantis, and it will come down to how Trump can perform on the debate stage, especially with the fact that there's so much going on.
I don't think it will matter too much that, because he's not a great speaker. He never has been, but he manages to. Same with Boris Johnson. Objectively, they're not great speakers, but they make people laugh, and that's something that DeSantis and Chris Christie ain't gonna do. He'll say, "Oh, DeSantimonious," he'll make a joke about Chris Christie.
That's it. It will play with the Republicans. You see, I think when they've done the polls, I think Trump still enjoys like 30% Republican support.
Yeah.
He doesn't really need too much more to win the primaries.
Yeah.
He really does not need too much more. The thing is, if he wins the primaries and becomes the presidential candidate, there's still the question of how many sort of Republican women are not going to vote for him, because that's what happened in 2020.
Yes.
There's the independents who would maybe vote Republican, aren't going to vote for him, certainly because of this, the whole documents issue. They're not going to vote for him for that. They're certainly going to go Biden's way. So he doesn't really have, I think, a path to the presidency that he had before. Certainly when he was up against Hillary Clinton.
And also what he used to have was the benefit of the doubt, because he hadn't actually been president before. He hadn't even been a senator before. So he was against a woman who had been in politics for decades, who had served as a senator for New York, had served as the foreign secretary or whatever they call it over there.
I mean, if you want a good example of Chris Christie, he recently did a launch event announcing his candidacy, and he doesn't go after Trump for the documents, the whole Stormy Daniels stuff. Doesn't go after him that at all. He goes after him for his record. The fact that he had 4 years of record. He said he would cancel all the debt. He was
going to build a wall.
Raised it.
He's going to get Florida to pay for it.
He just went after all of his record.
He was going to get rid of Obamacare.
There's no other Republican doing that.
This happened to me when I was over in Panama last year. I was chatting to one of the older Americans there who's a bit of a Trump fan. And he said, I think that Trump's going to go down in history as the best president we've ever had. And I said, what did he do? Like, what did he do?
Yeah.
He didn't build the wall. He didn't ban all Muslims from entering America. He didn't sort out the economy. The economy was in terrible shape when he left. He didn't repeal Obamacare. Like, literally, what did he do? What did he achieve in office? This was a guy who not only won the presidency, his party won the Senate and the House of Representatives. It became a House of Republicans. You know, they had, and he got to stack the Supreme Court, and he still couldn't win.
It's one of those things where he doesn't have that path like he did in 2016. He's had all the scrutiny. He's had that chance in the White House. He didn't really deliver. And the only thing he did do was he signed all those the presidential orders. So he did a lot of stuff that way. But of course, what happened? The second Biden came in,
he
came in and undid them.
Yeah, because if it's not gone through the House, through Congress, then
he undid like hundreds of Trump's presidential orders on like his first day in office.
Yeah,
and he has no legacy. Whereas Biden, just the Inflation Reduction Act alone, that alone is a massive legacy for Biden.
Yeah. And I mean, Biden, I don't think he's set anyone's world on fire, but what I have enjoyed is just the relative fucking calm.
Yeah, exactly.
Not waking up every day stressed out every day for 4 years, absolutely stressed out. What's this nutter going? What's he done today? What's he said today? Who's he been horrible to today? And it's just like, life's too short, man. Life's too short to wake up and have to deal with all this.
I think we need that as well at the moment. I think that is what a lot of people have said. I think at the next general election for us, people are just going to look and vote for, I want to turn on, the nightly news and not panic or not be worried about whatever scandals going
in charge. On. Yeah. Well, I'm panicking at the moment over the fact that we've had the warmest June in the world so far. It's 1.5 degrees hotter than it was before the Industrial Revolution. We're already there, Ollie. We're in the future, and the ice caps are melting, and it's not looking good. And there's the water is really heating up in the Atlantic Ocean as well. We've just had several weeks of just no rain here in Durham. I think that's going to break at some point, but we're going to get mad floods all over Britain because when you don't have rain for a while and then you have loads of rain, you get flooding.
It's got nowhere. It's got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same over here as well.
Just in the chat there, Reagan Elite saying Trump wanted to buy Greenland, and Aiken is saying Trump wanted to nuke a hurricane. Trump wanted to nuke a hurricane. Oh my God. Greenland is a protectorate of Denmark. It is indeed. And Labour says, Graham, you're missing live chat. You're missing messages. Liam, I can't read them all out. If you drop a super chat in, we'll definitely read it. Lucy Miller saying, bring back the boring. Yes. But then what would we talk about, Ollie? Like when we do our little YouTube shows?
Well, I think we talked about this afternoon. I mean, it's to me, it would be, talking about what Labour's up to at that point. It would
and what they could do.
Yeah, what they could do, what they're not doing, what they're doing good, how they could, and that's really certainly when that eventually happens. It might be in a couple of months' time at this rate.
It might be very soon.
Yeah.
So there is talk of a snap election. We're having a lot of the Tories apparently scrambling to get candidates verified to stand in seats. Don't forget, there's 600 seats or more to put candidates in for, even ones that they're not going to win. And basically, they have one of those candidates and they haven't been vetted properly. It turns out they've written some horrific, anti-Semitic, racist stuff online 5 years ago. Then that's not going to be great for them.
They're going to get absolutely screwed in so many ways. But it's something they should have seen coming. But I mean, I was actually saw on Conservative Home, Ian Dale had written a piece about how he was really annoyed that Conservative HQ and its whole campaign machine had been completely gutted. And then I think it was William Atkinson from Conservative Home wrote a response piece to it saying Ian Dale doesn't know what he's talking about. The election's months off. It's months off. It's not going to happen anytime soon. We've got plenty of time to get ready for a general election. Meanwhile,
yeah.
Again,
just
Conservative Home, funniest website online.
Just to respond to Liam there, saying he can't see some messages. I can actually. I've got the live chat up on my monitor, and obviously there's this, the what's set on the side of here next to Ollie. That's the top chat that kind of filters out any swear words or anyone who's not really known on the channel. Especially if they're calling me names, then it doesn't appear on the screen before I can delete it, which is always a problem. Like it's, I was doing a live show once, and someone decided to write the N word letter by letter as the first letter of each message in a row, and since then I've always been quite wary about what I actually allow to come up on the screen. For obvious reasons. So just to explain, Liam says, all right. Derek R saying, still time for more Tory voter manipulation. Only ID card acceptable to be able to vote is a Tory membership card. I could see them doing that. And Paul says, oh yeah, $45 a month for insulin. And that was one of Sanders. I don't really mean by that was one of Sanders, but yeah, insulin. Inhalers, like if you've got asthma, the cost of them in America is just horrifying.
Well, really just the cost of medicines in general. Horrifying. Oh, hang on, we've got a moth special guest.
You got a moth
through the window.
I
don't know if you saw him just briefly, just appeared on the camera. But yeah, I'll deal with him later. Yeah,
evil powdery butterflies. Okay, so Vendetta's worked out why his messages keep getting blocked. Okay, that's good. It doesn't like the runes either. Lol, says One Angry Pagan. One Angry Pagan likes writing in runes, and I can't read runes. Can you read runes, Ollie?
No.
If it was Elvish, I'll probably have a crack at it, but it's not. Do you guys really think they'll call a snap election?
Yes, I am. I've been saying this probably since Rishi Sunak came in. He's in a position where he's so weak, and sooner or later, Boris is going to cause a lot of trouble for him, which technically he has done, and that might cause him to call a snap election to sort of clear the deck and lose, not badly, but goodly in a way.
Lose goodly.
Yeah, lose goodly, so that he at least maintains a decent amount of Conservative MPs to form an effective opposition. That's what a lot of Conservative MPs are talking about. That's the aim of the next general election. That they're going to lose.
Yeah,
but they need to lose in such a way that they maintain and keep an effective opposition. But yeah. And that's insane when you're seeing like the Conservatives talk about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get up the newspapers. If I press that, can you see the feed there, Ollie? Yeah. Okay, I'll try and get up the newspapers on the screen because I think it might be quite fun to oh shit, no, that wasn't good. Just give me 1 second. Oh, do you know what it is? That was the same problem we had last week when we tried to do the Labour Social. It was just coming up as a white block on the screen. It's something to do with Zoom. Oh man, why isn't it working? Oh, hang on. Got it set to the wrong thing. 1 second. Tomorrow's papers. There we go. Now all I need to do is I normally just keep talking while I'm doing this so people don't get bored and like, what the hell, Graham? What's wrong with you? Let's just turn that off there. Oh, hang on. No, that's no good. Oh, it's that one. Oh, for God's sake.
I've also decided to commit to the bit as well. I don't know why. I've done it.
Commit to the bit?
I've bought a Bane mask.
Brilliant.
Hasn't arrived yet.
Do you know, it always reminds me of, do you remember Goatsy? I don't know if you're old enough.
No.
Do you remember Goatsy at the dawn of the internet?
No.
It was this horrible image of a man. How can I describe this? It wasn't very nice. He was bent over and showing the world his backside, but like in a way that was just absolutely horrific. And there were a lot of like little fun things on the internet where basically you'd open an attachment in your email, and this picture will come up, and a voice would scream out your computer, "The boss is a cunt, the boss is a cunt," and you couldn't get rid of it. You kept on pressing it. Anyway, so so anyone in the chat who remembers Goatsy, the mask, the Bane mask always reminds me of that. Anyway, right, so I'll just get this screen up here. Can you see that, Ollie? Just about.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! There you go. Done something right. So, end of the road for Johnson is the Times there, obviously, and then the Daily Star is it's official. Pinocchio is an absolute lying wazzock. Well, that's a surprise, said no one at all ever in the world. Let's get rid of these ads by Google. Go away. Right. Oh my God. There you go. The Daily Telegraph. The Daily Express. The most spiteful stitch up in the history of politics. That is the front cover of a newspaper. I mean, seriously, the most spiteful stitch up in the history of politics. Express comment.
Sorry, he's back. He's back. It's a conservative moth. It's a Boris moth.
Oh, mate, that is just shocking. That is absolutely shocking that they're allowed to have that as the front cover of their newspaper.
Yeah, it's the Daily Express.
That's not news.
There was always going to be a part of the press that was always going to be sort of remain, pro Boris, even regardless of what's come out in this. And
the most shameful stitch up in
I expect the Daily Mail to be just as.
It should be the history of politics as well. It's bad grammar. Also, we've got in a Daily Tory graph, Johnson allies to vow to oust MPs who voted for his censure. Again,
do it.
Do
it.
They're not saying that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom was found by a select committee to have lied to Parliament. That's the newspaper headline there. That he's a liar. And both of these newspapers, these Tory newspapers, these Tory rags, are taking Johnson's line on it. There we go. So we've got Daily Mail here. Tory revolt over vindictive bid to banish Boris. MPs and grassroots activists left furious. Yeah, all five of them.
At least we also know which paper he's going to. As well, according to the Daily Mail.
Our erudite new columnists who'll be required reading in Westminster and across the world. Oh, indeed. And the Guardian, quite rightly, has the verdict on Johnson. That's what the front cover of all the newspapers should be. Misled Parliament, undermined democracy, complicit in abuse of MPs. But Partygate report bashes Boris. This is the Metro. Is proper whopper a career stopper? The Metro has gone full Daily Star there, by the sounds of it. And the Financial Times is bizarrely leading with Moscow to seize naughty Western assets in retaliation for sanctions. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like one of the headlines of I Got News for You.
It's the Financial Times.
Moscow to seize what in retaliation for sanctions? And I was just like, what? And then we've got the I newspaper. He lied and lied and lied. Yes, Good.
Yep.
And then we've got Boris the liar. He can run, but he can't hide. Johnson repeatedly misled comments about parties. He's complicit in abusive campaign against inquiry MPs. He rages against the protected political assassination, and the COVID bereaved who followed the rules demand an apology. And I can't argue with that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, just tell us what happened.
Yeah.
I don't want your opinion on what happened, because I don't honestly couldn't give a shit about the Mail's opinion on anything. The Express, but it's kind of painful. It's kind of painful, Ollie. So I was missing all the chat here. Glenda is gone. Let's talk about Glenda Jackson is gone. Powerful woman, says Paul. Yeah, she passed away at the age of 87. Phil and I were actually talking about her son, Dan Hodges, and like, where is he? He hasn't been seen for a few days, and that's obviously where he was. He was with his mum, who was very sick at the end there. Oh dear, those 5 people. The five MPs who have defended Johnson. I mean, even like Rees-Mogg was just really half-arsed about how he defended him, keeping one eye open to try and stay on as an MP.
I think even they know maybe the game's up, but I think they're determined in some way that maybe they still think Boris will make a comeback and they will be rewarded for their loyalty. But yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Johnson isn't financial. What's this? I don't really get that. Sophie Gardner says Johnson is not a conservative. He is a radical libertarian. Should never been selected as an MP, let alone been a minister. His current behaviour is setting fire to the body politic. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sophie. But the Conservative Party is no longer the Conservative Party. They haven't conserved anything. They haven't conserved the NHS. They haven't conserved our relationship with other countries around the world. They are not conserving anything. They haven't conserved our economy. They are libertarians.
Yes, in fact, again, in Conservative Home, they actually had a piece recently, all of a sudden very worried about doing the trade deal with India.
Yeah.
Because they were worried about, well, they're asking for all these extra visas, and they even want to, how dare they ask for stuff that's in the British Museum that was rightfully theirs? How dare they? It's just like, what?
Yeah, I could do videos and videos about the British Museum. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. And what annoys me, if you go to the bloody British Museum, there's a bunch of stuff in there that's a reproduction. But you wouldn't know, except it says at the very bottom of what it's supposed to be, it says, this is a reproduction. But to my, non-archaeologist brain, I just see this thing that looks amazing. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Why can't we just have the reproductions of everything?
And then the other thing is there's what you do see on display, and then there's everything else that's in the archives that never gets displayed, never gets
no
shown.
One gets to see. We just hoard it all, like Smaug.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in the archives that has never seen the light of day for years.
Yeah. Give Elgin back his marbles. Yeah. JJ. They weren't Elgin's. He stole them and damaged them on the way out. And then they got cleaned after the war. I think they got cleaned, and the solution they used was acidic, and it actually damaged them.
In fact, here's a good bit for all you history buffs. If you want to see something really fun and interesting, pop into the Royal Armouries, and you'll actually find out that all the suits of armour used to be actually painted. And it was because of the Victorians who went around and started wiping off all the, using all the new chemicals and stuff that they had access to, and just shiny. Wiped off all the paint and stuff that was all on these armor. Yeah.
Well, the statues in ancient Rome were painted as well, which would look ridiculous to us now because we just think of them as being like white marble.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they were painted, so they would have looked like little Sabutio characters or something.
And like I say, that the helmet, I think it is one of 4 examples in the entire world that we know of that.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
But yeah, trip to the Royal Armouries. Always a fascinating day out.
Have you ever been to the Jorvik Viking Centre?
Oh yes.
That's your neck of the woods.
I have been, but not since they've had the revamp though, because I know they had a big revamp.
I just remember they made it smell like it did when the. That's like Why make it smell like it's not one of the things. It's like I wonder what it smelled like in Viking days.
I did go to the Jorvik they have in Dublin.
Right.
I can't remember what they call it now, but that's quite good if you go to Dublin and you get to go to their sort of Viking recreation, because it's not just the Vikings, it's sort of like the history right up to the medieval period. So that's quite fun if you're in Dublin and you get to go see that. It's quite fun.
We got Adrian Wilson here saying the Tory party in 2023 is the English Nationalist Isolationist Pensioners Party.
Yeah.
That is it, isn't it?
And that's something else. Politics Joe did an interview with a Conservative, and I can't remember the life of me for what his name was. But to me, he seemed to be the last sane, sensible Conservative left. I don't 100% agree with his ideas, but he was like, look, we need to build social housing, because if not, we're going to alienate all these young people coming up and they're not going to vote Tory. And I'm like, yeah.
Conservatives build social housing? Never! Yeah. I love the idea that the Tories have that I love it, I hate it, but it's fascinating that their view of the world is that everyone who is economically disadvantaged because they were born into poverty is lazy. And you see those billionaires like Elon Musk, they just work harder than the rest of us.
Yeah. And muck up Twitter.
Yeah, it's not like they were born in money. It's not like their dad owned a bloody emerald farm or something. There's an arms exhibition somewhere in York. There's also a train museum, which I've been to a few times. I do like the train museum. Transport museum.
The train museum,
Train. The armour must have had pea-proof paint, easy for you to say, Alistair, because that's what they used to polish it with. Pea-proof paint. There you go. They used to polish it with pea. Well, that makes sense. That's what they made gunpowder of back in the day, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Prefer the York Train Nerd Museum, says Lucy. Lucy's not going to your armory, mate.
No, but the York Train Museum is very good. I will say that is very good. If you like your train, then yeah, it's very good. But another thing the Tories have let slip as well, the HS2 college in Doncaster.
HS2 college?
Yep. It was a big essential rail college where if you wanted to be a train driver, work on the rails, train engineers, anything like that to do with railways, you could go there and they could teach you and learn you up. And obviously, because the northern leg of HS2 probably isn't happening unless Labour decide to sort of reinvigorate it, which they absolutely should. Like I say, we desperately are in need of rail and HS2. But yeah, that's unfortunately gone.
Oh wow!
Again, it's
along with the spare that was supposed to come up here to the northeast.
Another big, it's another big loss. But like I say, we have, I think, managed to save Doncaster Airport, so that's at least something we've managed to save. So
I'll have to look into it. Where do they fly to?
Doncaster used to fly everywhere.
Close to the Manchester.
Because obviously it used to be the home of the Vulcan bomber, so it's got a massive runway.
Oh, right.
So yeah, you had a massive runway, and you could fit all sides of planes on there. And it wasn't just passengers that they took as well; it was a big cargo airport as well. Yeah. So they had cargo planes flying out as well as passenger planes. Oh, wow. And then, of course, Peel Group did exactly what they did to, I think it was the Liverpool airport.
Yep.
Basically went, oh dear, this place is completely unviable, but just ignore all these packages going out via planes and coming in and out, which we're making a ton of money off, and ignore all these tourists going on holiday.
Well, Liverpool Airport moved a mile up the road, and the old Liverpool airport is now a hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. It's Art Deco. It's a golden age of aviation. The new one's awful. But it's where Creamfields used to be held. You remember Creamfields in Liverpool?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
That was that used to be there. Anyway, I just want to jump into the chat for a moment because Vendetta said Musk also created PayPal, and Vendetta's someone's jumped on and said no.
Yeah, Musk was involved with PayPal. He didn't. Yeah, how much is probably highly questionable.
The thing that he arguably did was he created a zip program in the 1990s, so you could actually send files to each other zipped, because obviously you can't send folders to each other. You still can't, actually. Yeah, 2023, still can't send folders to each other. Still got to zip them. Yeah, he what was it called? WinZip, was it, or Zip2 or something like that?
WinZip, yeah, I think. Yeah.
He developed that. But it's arguable whether he actually did the work on it or whether he just paid someone else to do all the hard work. And he got bought out. I think he got bought out by Microsoft, actually, but he got bought out with way more than it was worth because they just wanted to buy up any potential competition. And with that, he invested in PayPal, and then that took off massively. He gets a fraction of a penny for every interaction in the world on PayPal. Goes into Elon Musk's back pocket, which is the plot of Superman 3. What is it, 2? With Richard Pryor.
I think it's 3. Yeah, 3 with Super.
It's like he works at a bank. He's like, where do all the pennies go? So he decides to steal them all from the bank, and it adds up to billions. And he's like the richest man in the world, like that, because he takes all. Where do all the pennies go? So anyway, yeah, and then he invested in Tesla. He didn't actually found Tesla; someone else did, and then he muscled them off the board, I think. And then he didn't found SpaceX; someone else did. It just goes Starlink, and he's been quite lucky, I would say, rather than successful.
Yeah, he's been lucky. I think that's the key, and I think Twitter has been his downfall because
I hate him for what he's done to Twitter. I hate him for what he's done to Twitter.
He promised so much, and like I say, I come from a sort of a digital marketing background, and even I knew what was going to happen to Twitter, and I was warning people. I was like, look, you might want to consider, slowing down on your Twitter usage, or consider abandoning Twitter for something else.
But nothing else has come along. I was really expecting some, the way after a year or so, a couple of years of MySpace, then along came Facebook, and Facebook just took it just went, quick, everyone over here. And everyone just migrated. I think it's a great loss, because
I think it's because it's the first big social media site in a while to sort of go down, and I don't think people were necessarily ready to make its successor.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had, what was it? Substack have created Notes, which is
but
essentially Twitter, but it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
What is it? Mastodon,
which
is
just a bit too complicated for everyone's on their own. Server, and apparently they're bringing in some kind of thing for Instagram, so you could just do text messages on Instagram, which would allow it to become more.
But the big thing is Twitter. TikTok, and even that's not potentially future, because I had an interesting conversation about that today with someone about the future of TikTok, because obviously that might be banned, because obviously it's owned by China.
Well, they already banned it in Minnesota or somewhere in America.
They've banned it in a few states in America.
How do you stop people from in one area from getting something in one country that is available in other states, and it's not like it's a physical product. Are you in Montana? No. Okay.
Yeah, and that will. If they were smart, they'd sell it on to someone. They'd sell it on to someone American just to survive. But will they or won't they? Who knows? They might just be being too much, and it's still seen in very much in America as it's Chinese government, so it might be spyware.
Yeah.
Which is again part of the reason why they want to sort of close it down.
But isn't that hilarious? Because Twitter has and Facebook especially has been fined again and again and again for stealing people's data and selling it to people like Cambridge Analytica and people who run Brexit and Trump campaigns. We're getting schooled here about Zip2. It was not a file archiver; it was a website, apparently. Also, Blue Sky is still in closed beta. I think Blue Sky is the new Jack Dorsey one, isn't it? The guy who invented Twitter. It's his new thing. Jack Dorsey is creating new Twitter, and some Satan guy on Twitter created his own. Can't remember the name. It was only banned on official phones. Well, there you go. I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about them banning TikTok, because I don't think it's going to happen in America. Because
I'm like 50-50, but you don't know, and you should always have a plan just in case.
Yeah.
And the fact that politicians are talking about it, which is why I had the conversation of again with someone today. Always spread out your social media use.
Well, yeah.
Always spread out your social media use.
When I started doing this, I was going out on other channels. I was going out on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook and stuff at the same time, and I just gave up on the other platforms because we were getting very few viewers, and it just wasn't worth it. And if you just go for YouTube, you got a lot more accessibility, and it can do more with the chat and stuff like that. One of the things that was happening was people were giving chat messages, but I wasn't being able to see them because I just had the YouTube chats. My friends were getting very angry at me, like, "Why did you ignore me on the chat last night, you bastard?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
That might be solved now because, like I say, Elon Musk is intending to turn Twitter into the everything app. So it'll be social media, it'll be YouTube, it could be everything, and no one's really told him the amount of money that Google pays a year for all that video storage.
He's an idiot. I mean, is it called X? Is that what it's called?
X, the everything app.
X. I watched X last night, the movie from last year, the horror movie. From A24. X from A24. I'm just talking nonsense now, aren't I? I watched that and Pearl, which is the prequel to it. And Ben Chambers found out again that he just hates watching movies with me because I just say what's going to happen next, and he's like, "How do you know that? Are you looking on your phone what happens next to the movie?" I'm like, well, "Why would I do that?" Well, I was quite proud of the bit where I went, "That moon is upside down. I bet this was filmed in Australia." And I looked it up and it was filmed in New Zealand. And he was like, "How did you know the moon was upside down?" And I went, "Because it was upside down. If you know where the seas are, you can look at it and go, that's upside down. That's what it looks like in Australia." Ben's coach. Shut up and watch the fucking movie, Graham. Anyway, good little slasher horror movies if you're interested in that kind of thing. But yeah, X is a bit grim because it has a session with two old people getting it on, and it's a bit like, yeah, bit much. But then it's supposed to be a horror film, so yeah. Anyway, we should probably wrap up because it's after 11 and I've run out of beer.
Yeah, we've started not talking about Boris Johnson. We now want to talk about anything else but Boris Johnson at the moment.
We've gone like via Trump, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and now we're talking about A24 films. Adrian says, "I find the YouTube search engine a bit annoying compared with Google. It gives you results irrelevant to what you're looking for." Yeah, it is. Well, we're all going down the route of AI very soon. Reagan Elite says, "Hit the like button to flush turd Boris down the toilet." I like that. Yeah. And I thought you guys would be discussing how final this is for Johnson. Good point. Okay, so do you think he has any roots back into politics after burning all his bridges with the Tory party today? Any bridge he had left?
Entirely depends on what happens probably in the next couple of days, because it all happens with Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak, as I've said before, he has the best opportunity ever to get rid of Boris Johnson permanently. Has he kicked him out of the Tory party? No. Will he? I doubt it.
He should do, though.
We've said before.
For contempt.
Prime Minister.
Bringing the party into disrepute and for attacking fellow Tory MPs.
So while he may not stand at this potential upcoming general election, there's nothing to stop him standing at the, what would it be, the 2030? Is it? No, 2029 general election. There's nothing to stop him standing potentially at that next general election if he wants to.
He might have a heart attack while he's out running one day.
We can but hope.
Like Douglas Adams or John Hughes. So it's the good ones, isn't it? Why is it the good ones die young?
I know, Terry Pratchett as well. I still haven't got over the death of Terry Pratchett.
No. But Good Omens 2's coming out in next month, I think, which would be really cool. I really enjoyed that.
That'll be
Neil
cool,
Gaiman. Yeah. Adrian says Johnsonist destruction will outlive Johnson's political life death. That's the real tragedy. You're absolutely right, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what he has done to this country is absolutely shocking. If you take a step back and go, like, how much effect did one person have on this country? The Leave campaign would have never have won without him. Never.
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
They actually say that in here. We had to get Johnson. If we did not have Johnson, we'd have lost. So
Tory party will likely descend into some kind of bitter civil war. The Tory party members will back anything that is totally and utterly bonkers in the name of nationalist Brexit vindication. That's amazing. Yeah, that's something that Phil says. He often talks about the fact that the Tories, when they're out of office, are just going to pick some absolute loonies like Suella Braverman to run the party.
Yeah, it is going to be real Looney Tunes. There is going to be a war for the soul of the Conservative Party over which direction it should go in and what policies it should do, and essentially its attempt to try and regain power.
Yeah.
And I think very much so, well, I hope so, that it's going to be at least a decade before they get any act together. And during that time, like I say, all the progressive parties can do a lot of good stuff in that time. So I'm very confident, to be honest, about the stuff that we can get accomplished within the next decade or so. So yeah,
the next decade. Yeah, I think that the 2029 election is going to be absolutely crucial for bringing in a lot of the things that we want to see this country, the direction it's going to go in. But I think the next Labour administration from 24 to 25 to 29, is going to be taken up with fixing all these problems that the Tories have created. Because Labour can't even go ahead with their policies that they wanted to go ahead with because they're looking at the economy and the Tories have destroyed it. They can't borrow money.
I just want to stress again, guys, I know there's a lot of you out there, Double Down News, who cry still about the fact that Corbyn's not there. Even if by some magic Jeremy Corbyn came riding back in to lead the Labour Party, he would still have an incredibly hard time in trying to sort out this mess. You know, he is not the magic bullet that, you know, people like Double Down News claim he is. Yes, he's got a lot of, you know, good domestic policies. I agree with a lot of his stuff, but certainly I think foreign policy wise, especially stuff he's been saying about Ukraine. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things I find really weird about all that is you never meet a Lib Dem who's like, "Oh, Jo Swinson, she wasn't given a chance." They're just like, "Screw her. She messed up. She lost us a bloody election. She lost us loads of seats. She, you know."
The thing she should have done is she should have got her wellies on and she should have started going into all the rural seats. And if she'd probably done that, they would have done potentially quite well. But she didn't. She decided that those weren't the seats that she wanted to focus on.
She was kind of fundamentally unlikable. She came across as like one of those annoying head girl types.
And of course, the big annoying thing was, if it is a hung parliament and it's you know, potentially going to be formed by us and Labour, even if Labour are the bigger party, we're going to demand that I'm Prime Minister.
Yeah. Yeah. And both of them, Swinson and Corbyn, agreeing to have a general election in the middle of winter. No, just don't. No, no one wants to keep their front door open for more than 30 seconds. Letting all the cold air in. Some person's explaining to them why they should vote for XYZ. Swinson agreed to the 2019 general election. Madness. I know.
That was a very carefully laid trap by Dominic Cummings and succeeded.
If Labour and the Lib Dems had said no, he just appealed to the egos of Swinson and Corbyn, and their egos pretty much match Johnson's. I'm sorry to say. I know they were nowhere near as evil as Johnson, but yeah, there's a thing about ego in this, which is like, can you just put your ego aside for just 1 minute? Just think what's best for the country. Yeah. Anyway, right, we're not going to go down that route. We're supposed to be talking about Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson. I can't see. I'm going to probably regret saying this, but I can't see why he would want to get back into politics at this point. He can make way more money, like you say, making a YouTube channel, or he could start a YouTube channel called Mr. Boris, and he could give money away to people for doing crazy little games.
I think that's his destiny. Someone will give him a ton of money, probably a billionaire, maybe sort of this, all this dark money that's flooding into the UK at the moment. And he'll get given a podcast studio, a YouTube studio, and he'll just go, there you go. There's the model from Ben Shapiro, all those, right-wing online American guys, and just follow that.
Yeah.
And that'll be it.
Liam North saying he'll F off to America. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I hope that's what's going to happen
as well. Yeah.
Because one of the best things to happen to Britain in recent years, it's been a hard 10 years, 13 years really since the Tories got in. But at least who's that really, really annoying guy? James Corden. At least he pissed off to America, so we didn't have to put up with him on our time.
Oh no, he's back now. He's back.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, now he's lost his late night show. He's been seen back in the UK. So I guess at some point he will be gracing our TV sets again soon. So just like, again, you say that, but it's just like Boris Johnson. maybe that'll be the same thing.
I'll be back. Anyway, Ollie, we'll call it a night there. So thank you very much for joining us for the Labour Social. This is a bit impromptu. I'm trying to make these a bit more regular, but I'm trying to do them on Friday nights rather than anything else. But obviously we did need to talk about Boris Johnson and the fact that he's been found out to be the world's biggest liar by Parliament. Yay! So yeah,
who knew? Who guessed?
Who knew? Who guessed that would possibly be the case? Everyone. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the wonderful comments. Thanks for the super chats. Thank you to all the YouTube members and the Labour Social patrons. And I will be back at 9:30 for Morning Brew tomorrow, and I'll be back with Phil Morehouse at 1 o'clock tomorrow for the agenda, where we're going to be just rounding up the events of the week.
Yeah, gee, I wonder who you're going to be talking about most of tomorrow.
I have no idea. I'm looking forward to the day that we don't have to talk about Boris Johnson ever again. That'd be fantastic. For me, that'd be like coming out of a painful relationship, and that one day, months, maybe years down the line, you just wake up and you think, I don't care anymore. That's the day.
One day.
I want that sooner rather than later.
Don't
day.
Have
to worry about Trump. Don't have to worry about bloody Johnson. And then we can just get back to worrying about people who live on the other side of the planet who don't really have that much an effect on our actual lives, selfishly. Okay, right. So thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.